졌었고 더 나갈 가능성이 있다라는 평가를 받았음에도 불구하고 그 힘이 충분히 나오지는 못하고 있는 현재 상황입니다.
멋진 활약을 보여주는 장면들은 있었어요. 하지만 그런 것들이 팀의 마지막 승리까지 연결이 되어야 진정한 성공이라 볼 수 있는데 아직은 조금 부족한 모습이고요. 그리고 많은 것들을 시도하고는 있습니다. 이제는 그 결실을 맺을 때가 왔어요, BBQ.
진해와 전까지는 저희가 저점이었던 것 같아요. 근데 이제 이번 경기를 계기로 좀 많이 올라갈 수도 있고 이제 최고점을 찍을 수 있도록 노력 많이 하겠습니다. 언제나 존버우 떡상입니다. 감사합니다.
Welcome back, guys. We had a bit of a long break there, but we're finally here for match number 2 of the night. It is going to be Kingzone, and newly brought back from the dead from their little hiccup that they had earlier on in this split, up against BBQ, who are still dead. They're 0-5, still no success for them. We'll see what happens tonight.
Maybe they'll find out that frying the game is bad, because if they've been frying the game so far, it unfortunately has not led to many good news stories. Kingzone also started off a little bit rough. They lost their first series to Genji. They really stumbled over the line against Jin-Air Green Wings, but from there, the win over KT, the win over FLICKR, strength of schedule, they've already played Genji, KT, and FLICKR. They actually play Griffin next week. So this to be a pretty straightforward 2-0 for Kingzone DragonX, and coming into that match against the only undefeated team we have, Blackjack Griffin, which are 21-0. They really need to make this an easy victory, because anything else, bit of a disaster.
Yeah, you don't want to lose to BBQ again. That's
even a
happened
game
before. Yeah,
even a game, even an early game.
You don't want to lose anything, right? It's kind of that feeling that we had the other day where it was Griffin versus SKT, and I was like, this team, even if they lose one, it's kind of not good for their brand, right? They want to be this new team up from challengers, the big new guy on the block, and actually crush some of the younger, or not younger, but lower teams here in the LCK, and they did do just that. So it should be the same here for Kingzone. I'm very much expecting them to win. I should have Peanut in the lineup and just be looking to crush hardcore.
It definitely does feel like David versus Goliath here, but remember, the last time that Kingzone dropped a series outside of facing Genji, the only other team than Genji they've lost to this year in the LCK, ironically, is BBQ Olivers.
Yep, exactly. Just halfway through in the spring split, they went up against BBQ, and BBQ just kind of came out of nowhere and was able to sneak a match up against Kingzone. So they're looking for a repeat performance. Crazy's got his hair going tonight, which hopefully can bring some confidence back to the top lane after BBQ. Crazy had a really rough trade. I forget exactly who that was against, but he hookshotted into a Jax with double buff down a level.
That was Keen.
With no flash. You don't want to do that. So hopefully he talked to his coach. He went back and he was like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. No more Camille for me, perhaps. And just go back to the drawing board, because they absolutely need to win if they want to try to avoid relegations here.
And look at their schedule so far, and there's no real stinkers. We've seen that MVP is actually middle of the table rather than one of our cellar dwellers. Hanwha Griffin, Afrika KT, of course they're going to lose to them. They took a game off Griffin, which is a surprise in and of itself. Their only game win of the season's against Griffin. I guess that's the best of only one game win teams. They're definitely going to be wanting to find something here. Even an honorable loss and not just being crushed would be something. But let's go all over to Kingzone DragonX.
Now, Kingzone DragonX, you just saw a fan of theirs from Hong Kong, came down to the arena, and they should be playing Peanut. They should be looking to get that 2-0 victory. There it is. There's the lineup. The two blondies there, Jungle and AD Carry. Of course, Spray also dyeing his hair. Girl has also got the brown going on too. I like that as well.
You're becoming the hair guy. Wolf's listening. He knows that being the hair guy is a thing. You could be the hair guy, Valdez, but I'm a Kingzone DragonX guy, especially this week. They've played very, very well against KT and Afrika. When you're an LCK caster, you just want to look at the best performing team and really look at them closely and understand why they're slightly better than the pack. And this week, That has been Kingzone DragonX. We got this meta now. Here we come. They got rid of all those bruisers. They put prey on some range damage dealers, and apparently that's a pretty good combo.
Yeah, it's a great combo. It's no big surprise there, and well, 3-1. They're going to be kind of regretting the loss against Gen G, but Gen G was also looking so fantastic early on with their 80 carry meta and ruler. Of course, Ezreal, Tom Kent, but even Gen G going down to KT recently, so it definitely looks like the top of the pack is kind of all over the place right now.
It looked like printouts on Spo TV. So that's an interesting take on it. Sounds like we're almost ready to get into game, but first we've got to go over some key points. Key point here for BBQ Olivers. We tried to find nice things to show. I guess they're not lost in everything.
Spo TV just savage as ever, trying to think of one thing good to say, but they couldn't even find just one. Yeah, I mean, Papa, you said it best. They're not 10th in average kills, they're not 10th in DPM, and they're not first in average deaths. So that's something good for them.
Look, they're #1 in my heart for one thing: quality of fried chicken. That chicken is really good.
You know,
the advertising when they're losing is probably not quite as good. So before they've lost the game, nice barbecue chicken. Get in there, get some BBQ chicken, eat it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they should stick to frying their chicken and not frying the game.
Yes.
I think that's very key. Don't fry the game. Maybe you can grill it, do something else, but don't do that. It's not working. Kingzone DragonX, they found the answer from vision control. Certainly one of the reasons why they found some success recently.
I think they've just tinkered and read the meta better than they were in week 1. I think in week 1 they were behind. They thought they knew what was good, running the Mordekaiser, running the Bruisers, and it wasn't. It just wasn't working for them. So that really seemed to really cut them down, whereas now they've just been able to up their vision score. That is the VSPM in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
They've also upped their read on the meta, and it turns out that Khan, after dispatching Keen and also Smeb this week, now faces Crazy, so this is probably his chance to cash in his chips from playing quite well.
He's got the capitalized O in 1. Does that mean that he is the one actually coming in here?
He was for a long
Khan.
time. He was the only top lane carry in 2017. In 2018, he has had a good year, but of course MSI was not something great to speak of. He's #1 in damage percentage, and that's playing a most played Mundo, because it turns out that Mundo does a hell of a lot of damage too.
Yeah, and he takes a lot of damage. Don't have those stats up there. He might be up towards the top. Let's take a look at the support matchup. This is one I can get behind, right? Ignar has definitely been one of the players for BBQ trying to carry his weight, but hasn't been able to do it so far.
And whenever he's not on Engage, you wonder why. Whereas for Gorilla, the Tom Kent is his savior. Both these players played in the quarterfinals of Worlds last year. Of course, Gorilla and Ignar both crashing out at the same stage to SKT and to Samsung Galaxy, respectively. Not talking to each other, but we might in fact see some more Pyke today, and if we see Ignar Pyke, at least that's something to look forward to.
Father and son come down to watch some esports. Gotta love it. And they're cheering on Kingzone. No big surprise, but here we go, guys. We do have pick and ban ready for game #1. Let's jump into that now. Got that song going. It's the best part of the whole broadcast is when I hear this song.
You're talking over it, Valdez. You have one job.
Well, I mean, we've heard it. We've heard it before. I got the download, so.
Taliyah going to be banned on blue side, and Taliyah in the carry role has become a more prominent thing for Kingzone. They don't read that meta. No. It's in the support role. Still in the bot lane, but not going to be any Taliyahs, and not going to be any Kaisers either. I thought BBQ might be the ones to bring over some of the Fiesta. Seems like on blue side, they won't be opting into Kai'Sa, but Lulu first pick also can herald some fun shenanigans. So we'll see what happens with Lulu as well.
Nocturne currently in the LCK. Had this stat somewhere, 16-4. And the 4 junglers that lost on him weren't the best. I think Cuz lost 1 game. But outside of him, it was a lot of the lower-level junglers. Trick being one of them, but still gets the Nocturne banned away against him. The Lulu and the Zoe also off the table.
So we're pretty close to the shenanigans being banned away, but we did see G2 show that you can still run a funnel with different resources. A Braum first pick will be the first sign of that. Any Braums in the first round, you start to wonder is, here's a first round champion you could consider. A lot of first round, pretty bold choices in our first series coming through from Tal, who was saying whatever the matchup, we're feeling good. I feel like the matchup's going to be Mundo because that was banned in the second game by SKT, and that is a champion that good old Khan is on a tear with.
Yeah, they're going to leave it open, and we'll see if Khan wants to pick into that anyway. Thinking about that Irelia, saw the win rate earlier. They're like, hey, let's bump that win rate a little bit. First pick it here on the red side for BDD, most likely, but we'll see if it does get flexed as well.
To go in multiple different roles. They've been shying away from melee champions in the bot lane, but hey, it's possible. 4 and 16, 20% over 20 games. That is not great. There's the Mundo, so the Aurelia's definitely not going top.
Or, hey man, you never know. The Mundo showed a lot in the jungle actually after it got buffed in solo queue, but then they just realized that it's better in top to scale up to those tanky items a bit faster.
This might be the 8th game of Vladimir we've seen from BBQ. Mostly in the duo lane, both Ghost and Ares playing plenty of it, but only a single victory for Tempt on the Vladimir. We'll wait and check in with where the Vlad is going, but a flex pick to start things off. Usually jungle, taken first round. The jungle pool includes Camille, which has not been taken in the first round. It has been struggling a little bit in recent series. And it seems like Kingzone aren't going to be prizing it because I think they might want to be getting a counter pick for Peanut, who wants to go on a hunting trip to try and find Trick. Trick and Peanut hit the rift for SKT versus G2 last year at MSI. 1 year later, different teams for both players. Seeing what the Kingzone first round choice is. Gonna be a jungler, gonna be a Camille.
Well, you mentioned it was open. Kingzone might be scratching their heads. Well, okay, gotta
it's
go with the
hunting
Nidalee.
season.
It really
This is what I was thinking, because if you pick Camille first round, Trundle's pretty good into it. But the Nidalee is if you want to actually get in there and kill Trick. And we see Peanut's famous Nidalee. Oh, baby.
He's 92% win rate, or kill participation, actually. He might be up there, though. He didn't lose for quite a while on the pick.
The famous story was undefeated in his tenure on the Rocks Tigers. A couple of losses on SKT and also a loss in the spring season, maybe 2 losses. But on the Rocks Tigers, most people's favorite time when it comes to Peanut. He was undefeated, so fun to see it back. And definitely a matchup where he's feeling good about it. They're going to ban away the Yasuo, ostensibly to make those sick Nidalee spears easier to hit. No win walls.
Yeah, it's one thing to consider. I had a stat about Yasuo for the first series if FLICKR was going to pick it. Yasuo currently 8-2. FLICKR the only one with the 2 losses on the Yasuo. So 8-0 for everyone else. So it does get banned away.
Very interesting to see with bot lane remaining that the Rakan is taking, because usually counter-picking support final pick is the thing to do on red side. Now, it's a chance that Aurelia is going bot lane, but if this was Tucson, he would definitely be counter-picking at 5th pick here. They just want some engage. They find it through the Rakan. Still a power pick in some ways. We look on the side of BBQ as the only champion Ignar has won with is the Blitzcrank. That was against Soraka.
Yeah.
They could just go Lovers Duo and make the battle dance almost global, it feels like, in terms of escape. So this is bold from Peanut. I say from Ignar, but it could be strong against Peanut because hooking, you kind of really only want to hook the Nidalee, otherwise bad things will happen.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick to say the least. They're also going to follow that up with a Darius. So,
Probably wants to lane against either Mundo or Aurelia. Mundo is seen as a pick that the Darius does well against, but we already have Aatrox involved, so some shenanigans probably happening in this draft. As a Prey fan, of course, holds up there. Very, very popular player. I think you definitely go Xayah Rakan when you see the Blitzcrank, but they're going to change their mind and go Ezreal, just rely on the shorter range. There is still multiple scapes coming through from Kingzone. I think Xayah Rakan for a bit more CC would have been my choice, but Prey defaulting on Ezreal is never a bad thing. where all the champions go is going to be a question mark, as they've pretty much been on Vladimir bot lane duty for a long time, and I guess they look at it and say, Aatrox versus Mundo can be good for Aatrox depending on ganks. Darius versus Aurelia in the top lane is a very good lane for Darius. In the mid lane, he's actually eminently gankable. We saw Cabashad playing this in the mid lane over in the EULCS just get ganked mercilessly. They won the game, and that may still be the story here. The Vladimir stays bot lane. Ghost Flash Darius in the mid lane. A top lane special in Korea. Optimistic from Tempt, but not much has worked so far from BBQ this season.
Yeah, and you look at the side of BBQ, they've pretty much got no siege, right?
Oh, no.
A lot of melee champions,
no.
it's either you're jumping on top of them underneath the turret, or you're getting a hook into killing one guy and
What
then going
about
from there.
moving up to a turret, Trundle Pillar near the turret, 2 forms of terrain, and the hook registers? It's a Blitzcrank comp.
If they had that, you know, level of communication and mechanics, I would, you know, just throw BBQ up there and make them the champions already.
All right, sounds good.
We figured it out, guys. BBQ are the champions.
Peanut has a counter matchup. He doesn't care about Trundle's Pillar. He hops over it. There's a lot of good things here for Peanut in particular. They didn't first round the Camille to get it. What does it mean for Kingzone? We'll get to find out.
Peanut on the Nidalee plus Prey on the Ezreal. It's a nice amount of poke. You also got Cleavers heading your way. And it looks like the game is ready to go, guys. The countdown has started. Game number 1, Kingzone versus BBQ. Well, you got a Blitzcrank comp. You might as well look for picks at level 1. Moving as a team just to get some wards down. But then now they're rotating down towards bot.
Does a big assist to that jungler as well, because they'd like to know where the pesky Nidalee is when it comes to the potential for some counter ganking. Peanut's Nidalee likes to vary the item build. He's a big Lichbane Nidalee player, but in competitive play, there was definitely metas where he had to hold off on the Lichbane and buy one of them damn Ardent Sensors, but we're past that. No. No more Ardent Sensors. Are we going to be Athenes and Lichbane in some order? Maybe an early Sheen if he's snowballing. Very common pick on his stream, which I do frequent from time to time, wanting to watch some fun jungle pathing. We'll see how he does, though. Again, been good pick for him so far this season. Just happy to find a Nidalee meta.
Picks Nidalee with Gathering Storm. This meta.
He just tells his team
Peanut
it's for
things.
bigger heals.
Yeah, well, get like I wonder what the calculation on that is. It's probably like maybe 10 extra health. Might be a little bit more.
I think it's 0.35. This is completely spitballing. I think it's quite a small AP ratio, but then on low health, it's like 0.7, I want to say. There was a time when I started playing, back in the Hotshot Nidalee GG days, where it was over a 1 AP ratio. I think it was 1.5 to begin, but those ratios were changed. Rageblade Nidalee, a thing of the past. About 3 of our viewers were there for that moment.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
It was, League of Legends was a crazy game back in the day. But I do like where we've landed after a good 9 or so years.
Gorilla and Prey, Hop freezing the lane in bot lane. The mishmash of Vladimir Blitzcrank is not a lot of lane presence. I'm going to put it out there, especially if Rakan or Ezreal can both just hop, skip, and a jump away from any sort of all-in. You'll notice that Electrocute Vladimir is the common choice in the duo lane, whereas Phase Rush in a longer lane is usually what we see taken. Can go for some very cheesy all-ins with Ignite, but it's actually Teleport Vladimir, so are we not going to be going for any sort of all-ins? That's not the best use of the skills ever from the Aurelia.
Yeah. BDD just hopping around doing some CSing, but you can see what happens in that lane. You were talking about it before, where the Darius is, you know, getting some really nice trades down, but he's all the way up the lane, and he's constantly pushing into the Irelia. This is just Peanut's playground, essentially, if he can get on in there. Runs into Trick, and Trick is actually the one being aggressive over Peanut.
Peanut did not have any chance of his mid laner rotating first, so just kind of had to take the bad end of the trade. But he'd already got the scuttle, so that's a little win in and of itself. We are, of course, with the Scuttle Crab counter in the top side, a SpoTV exclusive. Take that, Riot Games.
Yeah.
And OGN, I guess. 1-1 right now.
Everyone.
So the World Cup season, the 1-1s, we're definitely feeling football over here.
Well, I don't know if Korea is really feeling football over here anymore.
Some of our Korean casters definitely kind of stumbled in because the Korean national team played quite late last night.
Yeah, it started at 12. Actually, I caught that match too. I went down 1-2 against Mexico, and they actually only scored in extra time, so wasn't the easiest game.
If you see 4 on the total kills today from Prey, that means that he will break 1,500 kills. FLICKR is at 1612, I believe, but second person to 1,500 would be Prey. He's able to get 4 kills today. I can't really talk. I was watching EULCS to an unsociable hour, but I guess it shows that everyone's got something to watch post-midnight, apparently. You know, and Ghost watching for where their jungler is at, but the playmaking here doesn't really seem very reliable. Trundle Vlad Blitz is such a weird trio of champions to look for a pick.
Especially level 3 Vlad. You better hope you get that empowered Q, or you're not going to be doing much damage. Good engage there from Gorilla, but it's really just about farming up here. Prey looking for that starting item. We'll see what he wants to go for here on the Ezreal. Hasn't went back just yet. Should have enough for a tier if he wanted to go for that now. Speaking of ganks in the mid lane, though, the flash comes in from Temp to the damage here from Peanut is nearly enough, but not quite. And now Peanut has to flash. He actually does get the kill.
Could be a double here.
End. Trick looking for it onto BDD, though. It looks like they're not going to go in. BDD actually now looking for the trade once again. Gorilla comes in, but actually it's too late. The ignite here from Gorilla will pick up the kill, but BDD does go down.
Trundle can brawl with the best of them. It's going to be 2 kills and a very fast road to the Cinderhulk completion. Peanut did get the hill, but they greeted super hard for that kill. That's a League of Legends term, by the way. Greeted is not a term you should use in one of your papers. And it ends up being a kill to the Rakan, a kill to the Nidalee, but 2 to the Trundle. Advantage BBQ.
Oh, interesting. Let's see how that did go down here. Just trying to bait in Tempt, and it does work out.
And this is just Darius mid things, where you spend most of the time around the inner lane. Actually, I want to talk about the picture-in-picture. Gorilla tried to freeze the lane at the worst possible spot for the Darius for a return gank. But talking more about the replay, just enough damage. The calculation was clean there. We do get Unlive, though.
Okay, gonna miss that stun, but they do have enough to follow up as BDD also hits level 6, and perfectly done there, just to set up a follow-up kill.
And that's why we talk about the picture-in-picture. That was Gorilla, because he freezes the wave in a spot where all Darius can do is overextend with those summoners. They come back for the wraparound gank. That was really well set up by Kingzone.
Well done. And now we got a 0-2-1 Darius down on farm against the Irelia.
That's not ideal, you know, and Trick can only come in, and we've already seen that we've had a 6-kill Trundle in the EULCS, and all the kills in the Trundle really isn't ideal because you can't really make things happen. Sort of a turret dive, seeing the replay, lane was frozen on BDD's side, all the backup was there, and Ignar says, well, there's no one to hook, really. I'm kind of not able to do anything. I don't even have my silence, and the robot just goes away. At least he's wearing a soccer strip, so he's, you know, in season.
You know, he's got that going for him. His aftershock procced too, so, you know, he was unkillable there for just a moment.
Oh, silver linings.
I mean, I think you may have said it best, right? Trick will get those 2 kills, but doesn't really matter in the end. Be, I think, nicer to get Peanut online and get those very crucial items for the Nidalee instead, rather than, you know, quote-unquote fed Trundle, who might be able to get some supportive or tanky items from the jungle here.
Definitely, and this was a game where Peanut kind of got more than he really deserved. He was just like, all right, Nidalee into Trundle, I can get there and mess him up. That's what the matchup's for. But then he also gets a mid lane that kind of overextends at every moment because Darius mid lane, oddly, is less useful than Darius top lane. The main reason for that is, sure, Darius in the long lane is easier to gank, but he can create a lot more pressure and he has more chase for a solo kill. Whereas in mid lane, while the lane's shorter, which sounds like he's safer, frequently the lane's too long, too short for him to actually chase for a kill. So he just ends up being in weird spots. Now, Trick is really tanky, so he's going to try something.
Yeah, looking for an engage here, and Akan forces the ultimate out, and it looks like that's all they really wanted here. No committal with the Trundle ultimate, no going too deep. They even had Ignar here, but look at what they're doing now. The TP up on the top side, 4 members, all coming up to the top side from BBQ. They're really trying to get this train going here.
And BBQ, one of the few times they were winning in spring season was when they played the Unsealed Spellbook meta and just packed up and left lane trying to get objectives. Mundo can do nothing at level 7. While he hasn't been ganked to death, they're trying to keep him underfarmed and underfed. All he can do is cleaver minions under turret.
It's an interesting idea, too, because you have the threat of the Blitzcrank from the jungle. So you see the positioning of Khan and Peanut, very passive. They know that there are 4 members up here. They do not want to fight. And down on the bottom side, meanwhile, it looks like Prey is finally going to put enough pressure on the bottom side and at least pick up this turret.
And again, for BBQ against Kingzone, we set our expectations at find good parts of their play to build upon, because nothing's worked. For BBQ, I really like the pack up and leave bot lane strategy. They weren't going to get any hooks. They do free Blitzcrank in a way by actually getting him out of the 2v2 in the short lane. He's sitting in control ward. There's a chance he can make something happen. Of course, for now, we'll just be waiting for a team that's been hapless, finding little things to point out and say, this spot worked. Even if later it's, well, this where it didn't work, that's still a good sign for the side of BBQ.
Yeah. It does look like they missed a bit of farm down on the bottom side, though. The turret able to take a bunch of those creeps away from the Vladimir, who's now down 33 CS against your Ezreal. Would be nice to get your Vladimir online, but because of this strategy, it is going to be delayed quite a bit. He misses, you know, say probably 20-25 CS because he was already behind the Ezreal.
And look, that's just the reality, right? Someone has to lose, and it seems like they've lost more because they packed up first than, say, the Mundo lost compared to the Aatrox. So there's always going to be a trade-off. When you make that sort of lane swap, you're usually going to do it with a tempo downgrade because you're the ones packing up and leaving and traveling great distance. So, like you say, there is a cost to it. But for a team who, in standard lanes, might have just been blitzed, you may have to take the cost and appreciate there might be a win somewhere else, or it might have stopped there being a power play from Kingzone.
Yeah. Ignar, funnily enough, after leaving the lane, he's just been sitting in the jungle looking for picks. Trying to bait here with a control ward and look for Gorilla. Oh, he's going to miss, actually. The spear is the skill shot that hits. And so good juking there from Gorilla, not going to get picked off.
Do notice that Peanut, on the most power farming jungler of all, has had to spend time shadowing. So while it looks like he's not behind, you'd expect him to be, what, 20 CS up on his opponent this time? 5 camps up because of Nidalee's ability to power farm. And Nidalee with no gold is a very different proposition. So that's what's happened here, is that BBQ have traded some gold on Vladimir for the Nidalee being held pretty honest in a tough matchup.
Oh, trying to flash on into Prey. Actually messes that one up. Silence comes out too late. And so the Arcane Shift does get Prey away. In the end, though, they do get the Rift Herald. BBQ just deciding, okay, guys, laning phase is over. We have decided this. 5 members on Rift Herald. Let's team fight.
Trying to stick together, but they need the hooks. Otherwise, it all looks a bit silly. So not the best look from Ignar, who commanded a lot with the Blitzcrank strategy here. I think packing up and leaving laning phase was largely to free the Blitzcrank, and not the first best attempt. Just pushing the top side, 2v2 for now. With a one-man army on the harass, Sheen and Manamune. Currently the completion Trinity Force on the way is Khan, still on the phone, but going for a walk through the enemy jungle.
I mean, he could try to dive, but against level 9 Darius, I don't think that's a smart idea.
You probably have to use stopwatch because you're definitely going to have to go. Speaking of opting in.
Khan getting pretty low here, but actually it's the Aatrox that gets popped really fast. Can they follow up the stopwatch here from Crazy? But are they going to go in? Okay, BDD will be able to pick up the kill. And now Trick and Thames kind of being baited into this one. Going to have to flash out of there to save their lives.
And it's a 2 for 0 because at the same time, we actually had Prey pick up a kill on the Vladimir on top lane. As the Blitzcrank left lane, they pulled off a dive off screen. So we'll get a replay of that, but they doubled down. They got a win in top and a win in bot. I see a replay of the top lane play. Like I mentioned, Ignar was recalling, looking to try to fight in the bot lane jungle. 1 Q hits and an all-in, no doubt came.
Yep. See engage from Gorilla. No hope of pooling. Really quick and not enough respect shown there. Got to know that that potential is there when you're going up against a Rakan.
It's been a tough matchup for Ghost in the past. This was the famous matchup where Prey 1v2'd super hard for a super highlight in the spring season, the second round robin. Used the Rift Herald, but they've done none of the due diligence, so they just get one charge. Don't really like the look on that one either, Valdez. Couple of moments in a row where the bloopers have begun for BBQ.
Yeah, it is kind of unfortunate, you know. It is the David versus Goliath matchup, but I liked that they were trying new stuff, and now unfortunately it seems to be all going wrong. A couple of bad moments later, and it seems like kind of everybody is following the same path, and it's not necessarily what you want to see. We've seen some worse Rift Heralds. I wouldn't give them the award of the worst so far, but definitely not the best.
Look at this. Shows you that the ganking is kind of a weird stat because there is 2 kills actually onto Trick. So 0 of 2 is kind of a weird thing to talk about. So we'll focus on the heat map. It shows you that Peanut largely had spent a lot of his time shadowing on the top side, which wasn't ideal.
Where exactly are the failed ganks? In the bottom lane when he sat there and he was on a ward? Does that count as a failed gank?
Look, if
not
you
really
have
sure
a
what
lot
you're
of
trying to say,
technology,
Spo.
Brendan, some of it, you know.
I'm just saying there are some good things that Spo's done.
Maybe
especially
Trick said something
this
nasty
year.
about Spo TV, and we're just like, oh, no ganks.
But that one is not one of the things they've done correctly. Don't know how to feel about that. He did get the double kill in the mid lane on the counter gank.
I'll look over his SNS, make sure he said nothing nasty about Spo TV.
PD's just not a big fan of EU transfers.
I mean, it's possible, right? We can never count these things out. Some nice item timings already for King Zone. BDD has his Trinity Force, and they're really trying to bait BDD. He's not interested.
He's smart. There's, you know, there's people that cannot play the Irelia. They're not good at it. They don't understand it. And there are people that just own face in the mid lane, and BDD is one of those guys.
He's doing his best ruler impression, but I don't know about everybody else playing Irelia, but I think she's good.
Yeah.
As it is a 20% win rate in the LCK if you're joining us late. King Zone push up, Trinity Force, and most of a Trinity Force. BBQ kind of have to full engage. They have very little wave clear, especially if Vlad is not there.
I got confused when you said Trinity Force and most of a Trinity Force, but then I understood what you meant. Trinity Force on the Aurelia, not just yet, on to Prey, who's looking to hit that 2-item power spike really soon. Muramana must be close to being completed, only about 1433, I think is the amount of gold you need after those 2 items to make that full Trinity Force.
Let's show you some cool numbers so we can laugh at someone. We're laughing at Blitzcrank this time. 152.
I mean, he is getting close. We haven't had like a real team fight where he can actually just ult 3 people and then get some free damage through that, but 152, that's kind of dangerous right now. 16 minutes in, I don't know, Ignar.
He needs to get at least 400-ish damage. What is it, 460 odd to get ahead of our current blooper leader in Cacao.
6:04, I think it was a 25-minute game, right? So
the blank one is
it's
kind of a big one because it was such a long game also.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to evaluate as what happened. Maybe BDD went to a time vortex. It looks like a time vortex to me.
I think he just broke. Yeah, I think he may have just broken the fabric of time.
Whoa.
And now we're back. We've teleported through time, Papa.
Are we back, or is this a different version of us? Or is this a different game?
You know, they're what they say about parallel universes. Okay, looks like we popped back.
Wait,
I'm kind of scared, Papa.
I'm not sure if you're the same Brendan I was talking to a minute ago. I have to ask questions, maybe,
Can you
to
hold
make
me,
sure.
Papa? I'm kind of scared after that.
I got you. I got you, my friend.
You need a Papa in your life to hold you when things go wrong. And Irelia going into a time vortex was quite scary.
We were told that it was an observer issue, but that could have been alternate reality evil art producer in our ears. We're not clear.
How do we know that both of us are the same?
We don't. We don't have any confirmation. We think the game is the same, though. So that's where we're at.
Well, the one thing that doesn't change, Papa, is that all 3 play-by-play casters in LCK are exactly the same. So I might not be me, but I could be Atlas now.
Nice. I just talk my thing, and then I look to the right, and there's a different person there every time.
That must be confusing sometimes.
Sometimes. But you get used to it.
You've called me Valdez every time correctly, so there's something, you know. People talk about how you cast 6 nights a week, but I'd say that's probably the biggest win. You never get the names wrong.
I'm just happy I always have someone energized to cast League of Legends next to me. Today it's Valdez. Everyone's got a favorite
The
duo.
next day it's Valdez too, because we're coming back on Tuesday.
Hey, don't rob me of my day off. The next day it's nobody and I'm talking to myself. It's Papa and Papa talking to Papa.
Oh boy, that sounds like fun.
That's the one that's not streamed. I bet people are disappointed about that.
Hey, it could be streamed. Never give up on the Papa Smithy stream dream.
Papa Smithy's-
Hasn't happened yet.
People keep asking me if a Papa Smithy stream. There already is Papa Smithy stream. Twitch.tv/LCK1.
Yeah.
Just like the people asking for an LCK
occasionally-
podcast.
Yeah.
Have you seen the early game in last season? We had a podcast every day.
We've had podcasts multiple days. They're just not paying attention.
I'm sorry the timestamps aren't there. Someone would have to do the work for us.
That might actually made the spear hit Trick in the face. Thankfully, he doesn't do enough damage yet. Let's Bane isn't completed.
Well, in this particular game, nothing's happened in the past 5 minutes, apart from the time vortex that BDD enacted with his W.
Could have been a lot longer than 5 minutes. We don't know.
Why can't we call a pause? I need to adjust myself after this time vortex.
You
Make
need
sure
to
I am.
adjust yourself.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit shook. You know, I'm like
Okay.
feeling a little bit out of
That's
sorts.
one way to think about it. Yeah.
Well, Kingzone don't look out of sorts. I want to say that BBQ look out of sorts, but unfortunately they've had a really poor split. So
They are looking in sorts, actually. This is just BBQ doing BBQ things, right?
it sounds like Flame, but they've played Master Yi Taric with the Taric farming mid lane and not following the jungler. They've also had Crazy just leap into a Jax as the Camille top lane and
Witness
donate
me.
over his life.
Yeah.
It was definitely Witness Me.
He was trying to do a reveal yourself moment.
He
Here,
revealed
a Spo
something.
TV special.
To give you guys a verbal understanding, he was Camille level 8, as you are. His enemy top lane Jax had double buffs. Shenanigans had happened. That's a bad thing.
Level 9.
He was one level up. He did not have flash on the Camille. The Jax did have flash. Is it a good choice to hook shot up the lane, like all the way into like the second brush, basically, against that Jax, whose all of his abilities and flash are up? Yes, no. Anybody know? Anybody got an answer to whether that was a good idea by Crazy?
The weird thing is that Twitch chat knows, but Crazy didn't. And he's an LCK pro.
Well,
The best part of that for me, though, was that he was doing it all for a ranged minion.
Did he get
hook
it?
shot into the range. He did. He hook shot into the ranged minion, and he got the minion, but then he died. It was an unfortunate series of events. Definitely a feels bad moment.
he was in full command of his champion, you know? And he was like, this, I've got it, ranged
Yeah.
minion. If it was a cannon, you'd be like, well, it's only a 208 gold trade, it's
It's
fine.
not bad.
But-
Buffed cannon minions.
But no, it was a ranged minion, and it was not the right way to go, and I called it rubbish.
You called it like absolute rubbish. You took the next step.
I think I said extremely rubbish.
Yeah.
I have to work on like what is like one step close, like an 8 out of 10 on the adjective scale, because I feel like extremely is like 7.5.
Yeah. Well, you could also use a different word that's not rubbish.
I feel like rubbish is my word now, though.
It is. I mean,
I said.
is there any other like British, Australian, like?
Well, I said one
word
starting
like
with
that?
F by accident once, but I tried not
Yeah.
to use that one.
Is that a British word or just like a?
I think it's French. Actually.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Speaking of which, Trick is going to be engaged upon here. The pillar comes down, and now BDD is forced to flash in the end. Tempt was thinking about putting his carry pants on. And with Ignar coming up, they were looking for a hook. Does not come through, and nobody dies.
Kings don't have a lot of map control, so Baron is always possible. It's been control warded for a very long time. Their Baron kind of relies on Mundo standing there. I guess Irelia can take it for a little bit. But their items are in the PogChamp time, where Prey has everything he's ready to go. Trinity Force, they even got some healing reduction to deal with the Aatrox. They're definitely locked and loaded when it comes to the Siege.
Yeah.
But for now, we should mention, the last time they played in Italy, they couldn't take the Baron for a long time because they didn't have a tank. So this game may actually just be a pretty mid-game podcast kind of game, because it's kind of BBQ walking away from Kingzone as they add gold to their league.
Yeah, I really do like the composition from Kingzone. It's very balanced. You know, you have that engage with the Rakan. A really nice follow-up in the Mundo who can just walk right in and be in their face. And you have a Fantastic amount of siege too. You know, Nidalee Ezreal. It's just very well crafted composition. Now on the side of BBQ, they're trying to fry the game again. I don't really know what it is, but it smells good.
I actually don't see BBQ chicken next to the front door.
Oh, you're right.
Did they not bring chicken today?
I think they actually didn't.
To be fair, I
They're
didn't
like,
see
you guys are 05. We've given up. No more chicken.
To be fair, we didn't get any chicken delivered to the crew either.
Nobody got chicken today, Papa. You're not the only one missing out on chicken today. It's everybody else too.
Well, that's a bold choice. Maybe they kind of knew that this was going to be a tough one, and they tried to save budget on the difficult games. So they look at the schedule, they're like, maybe not with Griffin either. Maybe Jin Air. We'll bring chicken that day. That's right, chicken that day.
Looking forward to that matchup, BBQ versus Jin Air. One of them has to win, so.
Legendary matchup. That's when you look at the schedule and you're like, well, maybe there's chicken today. But now, maybe there isn't chicken that day.
Yeah. No, there's definitely not chicken. We confirmed. Upstairs or downstairs, nobody has it. I wonder if BBQ get chicken every day if they want it.
Probably.
Like at their team house, they're like, I would like 3 BBQ chicken.
Well, Ignite's been working out, so maybe he needs the chicken for bulking reasons.
That's a nice dirty bulk you can do. Just a bucket of fried chicken.
I know dirty bulk is a term, but it's also really funny.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Well, if he can pair it with a dirty hook this game, that would be good. So far, his hooks have been,
It depends on your definition of dirty in this case.
Dirty's usually when there's like 3 minions and it like curves around one of them.
Yeah.
Where you're like, really? Can I have the remake on this one?
Back when we used to have Jin in the game, and Prey used to curve bullets around the people that were
That's
standing
true.
in front.
We miss you, Jin. But with Stormrazor being buffed, outside chance on 8-12, this is also our love letter to 8-11, our last series on 8-11.
Oh, that's right.
We better name the bannons because we can't do that afterwards because there's no more bannons anymore.
Nobody's even building banner on the side of King Zone,
All right, we need to...
or on either side.
All right, here's what we got to do. We got to rush the King Zone booth after this game and tell them, please buy banners so we can name for the last time. They're removing our... It's one of the LCK things.
I know. We had multiple opportunities in the first series too. SKT
I had some ready, actually.
2 banners.
I was going to name the SKT banner Glad Plane and have it take down Jin Air, but there's
And then
no Glad
eventually
Planes.
die.
Anyone that follows my Twitter knows there's no Glad Planes this season, so
Yeah, literally 0.
so we really need banners so we can name them in the last one because, again, Riot Games, they killed our 2 Shens, and now they're going to kill the Bannon. Naming Bannon's one of the few things we had left.
Gorilla does have cloth armor, so we are on the way. It just may end, the game may end before we get there.
A Bannon issue is going to have to be called in our
I
next
know.
cast.
We got to redo.
Well, Kingzone's taking the Baron, and BBQ, you know, I don't even know if they know quite where on the map the Baron is. They haven't explored that area yet. There's Fog of War there.
Oh, boy. Oh, Kingzone's actually turning here. They were so
Oh,
close. They're going to get
baby.
the engage. See you later, Ghost. And down will go Trick 2. That's going to be a double kill. BDD says, no Baron until I get a couple of kills. My 0, 1, and 3 was just not good enough.
Very nice early turn. They saw the teleport. They knew exactly what they were coming through. That was a bad funnel for them to walk into. That choke point led to their death. The unexplored Baron is the deadliest, and Kingzone are going to get it.
No. There's absolutely no way for BBQ's comp to kite or do anything. They just have to go head on and go 5v5, but they couldn't even do that. They're moving into no vision.
Run, Khan!
Trying to get onto Khan, but he's playing Mundo. Okay, they do have the reduced healing
Oh,
here,
they
but
blew his ult.
He didn't even ult before.
He did now.
I wasn't even sure. They get the slow, and now Ignite comes down, apprehends, and Mundo is still not dead. Oh, he's got stopwatch too.
Peanut's coming with a heal. No, he's not.
Oh.
Peanut, what the? Not backing up his teammate.
He had triple Ocean Drake, but it was in combat.
You know, Khan said so many nice things about Peanut in the last interview we had at Spo TV. And where was the heal, Peanut? Where was it?
Peanut just literally let him die.
He pieced out. He was like, I got better things to do than this.
Yeah.
Think of the missing health ratio on your ability power. It would have been 300 health.
It would have been a real heal. Would have been good.
Well, team issues on the side of Kingzone. First MSI, now this.
He just wants to have his 2-1-3 look better than Khan's 0-1-1.
You know, if they gave Khan a little bit of time, the triple Ocean Drake Warmox would have been a very fast full health. I kind of want to see Elder, so we see the epic amount of healing on Mundo.
How much is that? 24%? I don't actually know how fast that is.
You know, I have
Triple
time.
Ocean, I think 1 is 4%.
Cover me if there's any big action
right.
in this action-packed game. I'm
Okay.
going to look it up.
Don't worry, I got this.
Make sure you talk about all the important stuff here.
Oh, did I have to talk about
You do. You don't miss anything. There's action
okay.
aplenty in this
All right.
series.
Guys, we have an Aegis on Gorilla.
Oh, where's it going into? It could actually just be a Ziggs, though.
He has Zeeks, Papa.
Oh. You know, I hadn't looked at his items since you talked about the Aegis.
Yeah. And, well, he got the cloth armor, which means that it's not going to be the locket. And so that means we should have our banner on the way. Happy to see. Ignar is just waiting. He just wants one hook. He's like, please don't let my blitz pick be in vain. Just let me hook one person. That's all I ask for.
We just want to see one dirty hook from Ignar post his dirty bulk that you described earlier. Got some small numbers here. That's definitely a record for Vladimir.
Oh, he missed the hook too.
Has there ever been a Vladimir that did less than 2,000 damage?
It's really hard to do that. I don't even like.
He only has AoE.
Just Hemoplague something, dude. You don't want to be below 1,000 health.
Oh, but if he holds onto it for the next game, it might be stronger.
He might have more ability power then. The inhibitor is broken, and so is Ghost Soul.
Man, he has Death Cap and Spellbinder as well.
Yeah.
Oh!
There are just not words to describe. That bottom lane not really having a good game, are they?
No, the empower the Blitzcrank by packing up lane didn't work when he didn't hit any hooks.
Yeah. I think Ghost is still on 828 too, because I don't think he's done any damage to any champions.
Oh, but now!
Okay, but we do have the 4-man engage from Gorilla, and that's going to be the end of BBQ. At least he should get above 1,000 damage, will Ghost, but that's going to be your ace, and that will be Kingzone winning game number 1.
If Ace roll through the team, they don't even need a minion wave. They got BDD and Khan. The minion wave comes in, just a front row seat. The victory for Kingzone, and this one was a walk in the park.
Yeah. Just about as easy as it gets. Basically no action, but they end the game 12 kills over 3. That is going to be the game number 1 victory to Kingzone. I'm just excited to see the damage numbers, Papa.
And I think we also got a record, because in 31 minutes, I believe we narrated the least amount of League of Legends of any cast in the history of League of Legends. Thank you very much, guys. We'll take our awards later.
Yeah. Yeah, we always have an opportunity to beat that score in game number 2 as well. So hold on to your horses. We might have episode number 2 of Papa's Mad Life coming at you after the break.
You know, I'll workshop some stuff, because unfortunately, BBQ didn't give us too much to talk about. They just lost. As the Italy comp walked around, got some Drakes, and ended the game. Happy times for Kingzone. I think if they index most of their prep for Griffin, that top-of-the-table clash, they probably made a smart decision.
Yeah, you know, just don't show anything new.
Oh, there's no replay, it turns out.
Oh, really? I wanted to see the hook. Oh, wait, there was none. Poor guys over at BBQ. They are going to have to show us something to escape our insults, I suppose. We love them, but we'll see if they can come back. Guys, we'll be back after 12 minutes. See you then.